Hey folks, welcome back to the Jim Handy channel. And if you're new here, thanks for stopping by to check out the video. Today we've got a kind of a cool project. We're going to be installing this solar address sign. I decided that I wanted to put an address sign somewhere on my house, easily visible from the road, so that it was really easy to spot and see after dark. What led me to this is we've been getting Amazon deliveries sometimes well after dark into the evening, even up to as late as 9:30 or 10 in the evening, and also really early in the morning. I've had Amazon packages dropped off as early as like 5 a.m. So I thought, you know what? I probably need a lighted address sign to help out some of these delivery folks. And I thought it might look kind of cool installed on the house as well. So we're going to unbox it, see what's in here, and then we're going to go through the process of actually installing it. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. So stick around. Okay, so let's open this box up and see what we have here. All right, so we have some instructions. Should be pretty straightforward. We'll take a look at those here in just a moment. So we have here. Oh, okay, so I think I know what this is going to be for. These are sort of like stencils, but they're guides to let you or to help you install the numbers really straight on the sign. And I guess if you have a 5-digit number, you would use the 5-digit template. Then there's a 4-digit template, and then a 3-digit template. So I'm going to actually be using the 4-digit template, so we will come back to that in just a moment. Looks like we have lots of numbers, and I wonder if, yeah, and there's also letters. So yeah, a whole stack of these. So that's good. Let's see here. We have some hardware. There's some screws and some anchors. I'm actually going to be installing this onto a concrete wall surface. So I will be using these there's little plastic anchors in here. Don't know how easy that is to see, but I'll definitely be using those. If you are installing into a wood surface, you probably don't need the actual anchors themselves. Let's see, I believe this is our sign. And by the way, this sign is designed to be mounted directly onto a wall or horizontal surface, or it comes with some stakes that you can put together and use that, and you can stick it in the ground and it'll stand up about 3 feet tall or so, from what I recall. Some other hardware bits and pieces. We'll come back to that. Here's the actual, there's another little piece there. So this is the actual sign. So it's solar powered. So there's the solar panel right there. And the way this works, it's not backlit. There's actually a light underneath this little hangover here. So it just hangs up on the wall, and the solar panel charges the batteries throughout the day. And it doesn't have to have direct sunlight. It just needs to be daylight out. And as long as it's daylight, that will work. It'll charge. So it's that kind of solar panel. And then you just put the numbers on here, and it just illuminates it with downlighting. So I think that'll work okay. Let's set that aside for the moment. This is the stake. And this is a little adapter. So if you wanted to use the stake, use that adapter to push those two together. Then there's a spike you put on one end, and then you have this other little attachment that goes on this end, and that in turn screws to the back of this, and then you can just shove this into the ground. That's not how we're going to do it, but very simple. And there's 4 little screws here for that. And it looks like they even give you just a blank panel. So if you're going to mount on the wall, which I'm going to do, you can just insert that little blank panel just to fill in that little gap. So that's okay. It's got 2 notches on the back. So your screws have to go in, and then this actually goes onto the screws and kind of slides down to lock in. I'm going to show you a neat trick on how to use painter's tape to get this exact distance perfectly and make it super easy on yourself when you get ready to drill the holes, or at least mark the holes where you're going to put the screws in. So that is pretty much the entirety of this. We do need to put some numbers on here. I'm not going to be putting my actual house number on here. I'll come back later and do that after the fact, but I just want to show you how this works. So we're going to put this template on here, and we're just going to finally see. I don't have any numbers, or rather letters, in mind, so let's just do something simple here. I'm going to take A, B, C, and D. Now, I know this is probably hard to tell, but there we go. We just peel that off, and we've got a little tiny piece there we've got to remove. Yeah, okay. Now, I didn't even look at the instructions, but probably worthwhile doing so. But this is super, super simple. And so I guess all you do is just, with this template in place, just put the numbers or letters where they need to go. All right, so that's got our sign all ready to go. So there we go. So what we're going to do next is show you how I measure a little technique I have using painter's tape to make sure we get these holes, because I got to drill holes and put anchors in. And I'm going to show you how I don't even have to use a ruler. Let me just show you. And actually, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'm going to show you the tools that we're going to be using. So I have a drill with a Phillips head screwdriver in it. I'm going to need the drill because I have to drill some holes. If you were putting the screws into wood, it's highly likely that you would only need a Phillips head screwdriver. So just something to consider. But I'm going to be drilling, so we need that. And because I'm drilling, I do know I did take a quick glance at the instructions, and I need a 1/4-inch drill bit in order to match the hardware that came with it. And these are designed, these little anchors are designed to go into a hole that's 1/4-inch. So if you were going to be drilling into wood and wanted to use the anchors, which I don't know why you would, you can just put the screws straight into wood, but you would just use a 1/4-inch wood bit. In any event, so we have a drill with a Phillips head screwdriver attachment. We have just a regular Phillips head, a drill bit. In my case, I do have a level that I'll show you what we're going to do with that here in just a bit. And then I have some painter's tape. Ultimately, I need to transfer this dimension between these two holes onto the surface that I'm going to be mounting this, since I am mounting it on the wall. And all I'm going to do is just take a piece of painter's tape. This takes one strip. And what I'm going to do is line the edge, the top edge of this painter's tape with the top edge of this little opening here. That's just so that I have that nice and straight on there. There we go. And then with a pencil, or in my case, I'm just going to use this drill bit, you just find those little spots, just like that. And I'm just going to poke a hole. And then I'm going to take this piece of tape off. And I will just stick it to the wall where I am going to mount this light fixture, this with the address sign, I should say. And then I'll use a pencil or a Sharpie or something like that and make some marks where those two holes are at, and then drill my holes, and it will end up aligning perfectly with the distance here. So we'll just take this piece of tape outside, and I'm going to actually show you this, and we'll put it on the wall, we'll make our marks, and we'll drill our holes and get our anchors installed. So we have our surface here, and I'm just going to take this level. I'm doing all this kind of one-handed, holding the camera with one hand. So I think I got that just about where I need it to be. Okay, so with our level up against the wall and the bubble centered, I have scored a line right across the top of the level. You can kind of see that there. I just needed just a basic little mark. And then what we'll do is take our piece of tape here, just line it up with those marks that I made. We're going to come in where we made those holes. And just make a little mark. We can pull our tape off. And we have one mark there. And I know that's a little hard to see probably on camera, but it's right there. Okay, so there's our two holes drilled. Now let's get our anchors and put in there. Put one anchor there. An anchor there. All right, we'll get that screw kind of started. This one started. And I'm just going to run these screws in to where I think they need to be. They have to be left out just a little bit, maybe about like so. All right, let's get our sign and hang on there. See how it looks. There we go. Okay. And there we go. So what I'll do is I'll bring you back after it's dark and show you what this looks like. So I thought I would just show you what this looks like if you mount it on the stake. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so that would definitely be an okay way to mount it. All right, so here we are. It's finally dark enough. We can test this out. I didn't mention this before, but right up underneath here, right where my thumb is, there is a button to turn this on. And there are 3 lighting modes. So we're going to do that now. That is, I believe, just considered bright white. And then we have warm white. And we have what I think is called daylight. So, let's, and then off. I think I like the warm white. So yeah, so there we go. I think that looks pretty decent. Actually, it lights up nice. So job done. All right, so there we go. Light looks great. It works great. So I'm pretty happy with it. Again, I'll put the link down in the description that links to the product out on Amazon. It sells for $29 and change, so just say 30 bucks. And yeah, I think it's worth it. So got a couple of different options there for how you mount it, either wall mounted, or you can use the stake and put it in the ground. So either way, it seems to be pretty functional. So hope you found that useful in some way, or at least entertaining. If you did, I greatly appreciate it if you could give the video a big thumbs up. Helps the channel a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's absolutely free and costs nothing. So that also helps the channel. So with that said, I hope everybody has a great day, a great rest of your week, and we'll see you again on the next video. Bye now.